Let's think about innovation as an extraordinary leader. What I am finding more and more often is that people aren't very innovative. People don't really know how to creatively think. The amount of times I'm with teams or leaders, and even in the icebreakers, I'll say, right, let's come up with an invention. Let's try something new to get neural pathways doing something a bit different to the business as usual. And I always expect a high level of energy, but I'm often met with a low level of uncertainty of what are we doing? Why are we doing this? And there's a paralysis around expanding into something we don't know, which makes me think we've got a problem with innovation. If we are wanting to have a competitive edge in our teams, in our businesses, innovation has got to be at the core of it. McKinsey has done a report saying that innovation is more important now than ever before since COVID. It's what propels our future revenue. And with things changing so fast and our consumers wanting things differently all the time, our feedback loop having to be so quick to respond to what people want, innovation needs to be our best friend. Now, there's a thing between innovation and productivity. So productivity, I call it business as usual, BAU. Innovation is, in my mind's eye, the balcony view. It's seeing the bigger picture. Having innovation means redesigning strategy, reiterating strategy, how a team functions, the behavior of the team. So it's being able to go to that bird's eye view, that balcony view. Innovation is a state that we go to and a disciplined action that we carve out, time we carve out as a discipline to get into the bird's eye view, to get that balcony view. So here are some things that I want to share with you to up the dial on your innovation. First of all, there is a book that I think you should read. It's called Wide Angle Lens by Rod Adner. And in this book, I mean, you don't need to read it because I'm going to give you the highlights, but it's such an interesting approach to innovation, whereby he suggests that we need to go to different sectors, spaces that have got nothing to do with us. An example would be high-end luxury handbags, going to a golf institution or a local equestrian setup and seeing what they can borrow, how they can be influenced from an entirely different sector and space that will then boost their spaces. For example, some great innovation that happened in the 90s was companies started look in the area of design, companies started looking at animals to get inspiration. And Speedo discovered that sharks, the fastest swimming mammal, had a certain type of skin that they could replicate onto swimwear for athletic sports swimmers. So they adapted the design to replicate similar skin quality to sharks. And guess what? Loads of world records got broken through that innovation, borrowing from something that's different to you. So what are you doing in your team to get people thinking innovatively? Where are you sending them? How are you inspiring it? What are you doing? Who in your network are you speaking to that's in a different sphere or sector to you that you could borrow information from? There's always things you can learn. I heard this week that cruise ships, they are washing over 10,000 towels a day for the people on their ships. That is a lot of towels. Can you imagine what an operation that is below the decks? How interesting if you're in operations or if you're in small operations to go somewhere like that and learn and see and figure out what's automated, what's not, what does this look like on a big scale? Because often we get stuck in our own little wineskin of behavior and think this is all I can do about it. But if we go to other spaces and get inspired, then we will bring that creativity into our domain and our sector. So that is the first thing, going to wide angle lens to different spaces, different sectors. The second thing to watch out for when you're wanting to build a culture of innovation is beware the culture of permission. So I got this from a fellow consultant, Anthony Hilder, who talks about initiative culture and permission culture. And if you have a permission culture, it's a culture in which people are coming to you as a leader, or you might be doing it yourself, going to your leader and saying, can I do this? What do you think I should do next? We're waiting for permission, much like a child at school. Miss, can I go to the loo? Miss, can I have my break now? And actually, many of us haven't grown up out of that permission state. And as leaders, without being intentional, we accidentally fill the role of giving permission to people without thinking, actually, this isn't what we need. We need innovation. So we need to turn a permission culture on its head and create a culture of innovation. How do we do that? Well, that is the million-dollar question, isn't it? One thing we do is measure it and reward it. So you can't grow in what you're not measuring, because it just becomes an avoided and an ignored spectrum, an ignored and avoided system. So we need to hit it head on and start valuing, measuring it, rewarding it as one of our KPIs, our main targets. How can you measure? How can you create a value system for innovation? The thing with innovation is there's mess, and there is no space for control. Innovation has to be a space where there is play. You cannot create without play. So what are you doing in your team to create environments of play? Now, something I notice when I'm going around is it's not very playful. Now, I'm not suggesting black and white, let's all have fun, fizzy wizzy pop, ping pong, bean bags, Xboxes. I'm not suggesting that for a second. But I am saying let's turn the dial up on play, because play gives fruit to innovation. So what are you doing in your next quarter, in your next 2 quarters, in the next year to ring fence moments and times for play with innovation on the end of it? You could just do some icebreaker games. Get in touch if you want some help with that, or Google it. You'll find lots there. Or equally, do you want to design with your team a space where they can create new systems, new processes, new ways of approaching things, but give them the time in their week? Create a tactical team that are going to go after certain new inventions. Ring fence time for your team that you are valuing, and create a way of putting it on their reviews. How is this innovation track coming along? Do people need to be rotating in some kind of innovational team, getting people from different functions, different departments together? Is this an initiative you need to suggest to leverage your influence in your business? But if there is no space for innovation, it won't happen. I've mentioned in my video, The Art of Quitting, we have to quit spending our time the same way every single week if we want to see change. So if you want to see innovation, more innovation in your team, you're going to have to quit spending your time the way you are every week and implement new ways of spending time to dial up that innovation. And finally, I'm nodding back to something I've touched on, but this aspect of play. Play connects us. Playing together connects us. Whether you're playing literally a game of something like Dobble, which will take you all of 4 minutes, that puts into the tank of your team, of your business, connection, which out of connection comes freedom to speak. And when people are free to speak, they're free to create. When they're free to create, they innovate for your business. Play is really important. If I came to your leadership now and said, where's the play in your team? And you drew a blank, then I'd say you've got a problem there. You need to dial up the play. Now, play doesn't have to be Dobble. Play doesn't have to be a board game, but play could be any kind of connective game or interaction socially that is out of productivity, out of business as usual, in order to get you into a balcony space, that balcony view space. Play is so important, and I'm going to talk more about play in part 2 of innovation. But let me know your thoughts. How do you create a spirit of innovation in your team instead of a culture of permission. I'd be really interested to know. This is something for us extraordinary leaders. We are all learning and journeying with together. And if I can help you become more extra to your ordinary in the space of creating innovation in your teams, in your leadership, reach out to me, dollywaddell.com, and let's have a conversation and see how I can help you get to the next level.